I'm sharing how I've updated my teacher planner. This is part of the Back to School series on my channel. And I set up my planner using the ARC notebook system from Staples. I purchased the ARC notebook that had a clear cover, so in person it's like a frosted appearance, but it's not picking up on camera. And I got the clear cover just so I can make my own cover that would make me happy. I upgraded to these rings. They have a gold tone. I'm not sure what they're made out of. They do feel metallic. These I find are easier to turn the pages on than the plastic rings that the books come with. This cover I put together using the collage feature in PicMonkey, and it's mostly pictures I found online. I added some text for quotes. This is the only picture that I actually took myself, but the rest of these I did find and made a collage out of them, just of things that would make me happy. The first thing that I added was this zipper pouch that Staples sells for the ARC notebooks, and I added in Post-it notes from the Target Dollar Spot. The next thing that I have is a pocket folder. It's clear, and this is where I would keep just random papers that I get that are urgent or just more recent. Would be in here if it's something I needed to act on, etc. Right, then I made my dividers by just laminating cardstock, and this is what I did for my cover as well. When I laminated it, I put the cardstock very close to the edge of the laminating pouch so that I would have space over here to punch the grooves that make it possible to put this in the book. And I did this last year, and these held up well throughout the year. There's like a nice lip up here, and that's how I would be able to grab to go to different sections. I have another pocket folder right after that divider, and after every divider I have a pocket folder just to hold papers that I would need in that section. Then I have an ARC notebook page protector with my district calendar and the pay calendar on the back. And then this pocket I have a bunch of different papers, but they're all for unit planning. Just anything that my district's giving me about unit planning is in here. Okay, so this is new this year. I made a to-do list for the full week, and so I have Monday through Friday, and then I have just one long box for the weekend. And I've divided the boxes up by my periods, so I have periods 1 through 9, and then I have a space for before, after school, and for home. So this is just where I'm going to write in things that I need to do in that time frame. For example, I tend to be forgetful about passing papers back to my students. So if I had something to pass back or to collect, I would write it in for like 3rd period in my geometry class. I'd say, okay, so Monday, pass this back. And then I'd be able to just take note of things that I needed to do before and after school. This weekly to-do list template is available in an editable format on my Teachers Pay Teacher store, and I also have an 8-period version. My next page, I have a procedure planner. This is something that I put together to prepare for back to school. It's part of the 40-hour teacher workweek club, and we were given a list of procedures. So I went through and picked out the procedures that I use as a teacher, and I listed them in this column. In my next column, I just wrote out how it works in my classroom. In the 3rd column, I wrote out how I plan to teach it to my students. And then in the last column, I wrote out when I plan to teach it to my students. So this I have for the first few weeks of school because I always feel like I leave something out. And that ended up being about 3 pages. After that, I have just the original ARC notebook paper. I have a couple sheets here. And this I just do for just general planning for the future. After my plans and ideas section, I have a section for each prep that I teach. So the first one is geometry. This is the pocket folder that I have for this section. Right now I have my syllabus in here because I'm still tweaking it. After the first pocket page, I have 3 page protectors for every prep. The first page protector is where I put the things that I need to copy for that class. The second one is for things I need to do for that class. Usually this is where I put answer keys that need to be made. And then the last page protectors for things that I need to file into the binder that I keep with all my lessons. Okay, so new this year I have pacing guides for all 3 preps. This is a template that I created and have for sale in my Teachers Pay Teacher store. It is editable. So I went through and I added in all the dates for the school year. Any date that you see grayed out is a date that we don't have class, and I have it set up so that I can see a dark line between the weeks. So here's a set of 5 days, set of 5 days all the way down, and then I have the rest of my pacing guide on the back. Also new this year, I have a long-term planning page for each prep I teach. So I have for geometry, I teach 10 units, and anytime I have an idea or something that I know I want to do or incorporate in a unit, I'm going to write it in here, because usually I'll have these ideas and put it on a post-it note and then lose it. For every prep I have a planning calendar. This is also available for sale in my Teachers Pay Teacher store. And I have September through June all paper clipped together, just to make it easier for me to find pages. After that, I have my scope and sequence printed out, and I also have that paper clipped together so I can see what it is when I'm looking through it. And then I have a couple pages of ARC notebook paper in each section just for any notes that I want to make throughout the year. So last year I had a list of changes I wanted to make that I saved on this page. And then I have a lesson plan ideas kind of dumping ground. So if I have an idea for a lesson, this is where I would write it out. I haven't actually used this in the past. I have my general geometry plans, and it's the same thing as my geometry section. I also have my SAT prep plans, and it's the same as the geometry with the pacing guide and everything else. If you're turning pages left-handed, if you're righty, and one-handed, it's kind of difficult. My last section is my professional development section. I have a pocket folder up front like usual, and then I have my professional development log, also available in my Teachers Pay Teacher store. In my state, every 5 years I have to complete 100 hours of professional development, so this is just where I'm keeping track. So I have 2 pages of my professional development log, and then after that I have just a bunch of sheets of my ARC notebook paper, and this is where I take notes during professional development. So here's where I got to the blank paper, and then I do have one last pocket page at the end with things from professional development. So when I do my notes for professional development, I put the title up here, the date, and then I take my notes as I normally would. One last change that I wanted to talk about that you cannot see on camera is the paper. Last year, for anything that I printed out like this and punched to put into my planner, I used regular computer paper. If I had a page like this, like a pacing guide where I'd be looking at it constantly and I'm flipping it a lot throughout the year, it actually ends up getting so worn at these edges that it falls out. So I invested in sturdier paper. I have kind of like the stub of what it is that I purchased. So for better paper, I purchased Georgia Pacific paper. It's in 28-pound weight. I think your usual computer paper is 24 pounds, and you can feel the difference. And this is definitely sturdier. That concludes my 2017-2018 teacher planner update. And if you have any questions, please leave them below as a comment. And any related items I have listed for you in the description box below. Thanks for watching.